Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available where podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. This coming weekend? Oh, we're going to do a watch along for the Hammerstein show, the GCW one?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
That sounds fun. We'll be doing that this Sunday. And yeah, how was your weekend? You have a good weekend?
It was fine. Yeah, I watched football yesterday.
Right on. How did the Eagles not do well?
Oh, they got annihilated.
Oh, really?
Destroyed.
Okay.
It wasn't competitive. I stopped watching at a certain point. They were getting
Okay.
shut out. They eventually scored some points, but they were getting shut out, and I was like, this game's over. So
Sorry about that.
I mean,
I know you're an
I
Eagles
kind of
fan.
expected that outcome. So
Yeah. Well, if you go into it with low expectations. We watched the Zicky Dice show. By the way, shout out to Maggie for joining us on the
Yes.
Twitch stream. Enforcer under the weather right now. So small programming change for my personal Twitch channel over at MF Steve here, if people care about that. No NX Steve tonight, but I will be doing a Steve Austin story mode in WWF No Mercy. I dusted off the PS4. I got the No Mercy out. That's going to be at twitch.tv/MF Steve here. And then tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do for the 2.0 watch along. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But get better, Enforcer. Hopefully
yes,
you get through this.
Yes.
So yeah, the Zicky show, real quick before we dive into the news, because we got a couple of big items here in the news brief. But we were there for watching the Zicky show. Pretty fun stuff. I thought it was cool. I thought it was, there's actually two indie shows this weekend that I thought were pretty cool and very indicative of where sort of the indie community is right now. A couple of high profile shows. Terminus, which I caught this morning, I watched it, and I thought, they dealt with a lot being there in the South, and they're getting hit with the winter, the nasty storm over there. So, between that and the Rona and everything, they were still able to put together a pretty fun show. The main event there culminated the Ring of Honor title match, Josh Alexander versus Gresham, in a double pin. They both did like a package on each other, and then they were just sitting there, and the ref counted 3 for both of them. So, some people saying an underwhelming way to end the show. I thought it was pretty cool because it was like these guys are perfectly matched. Like the wrestling match itself was really, really good. There were some really stellar wrestling matches on there. I got to see Fred Yehi, man. Every time, I don't know why he hasn't gotten like a national deal, because this dude is absolutely terrific. Like one of the bigger names needs to pick him up because he's great. Lee Moriarty had a really good match. There was a lot of fun stuff at Terminus. So I was glad to see that even throughout all the crap they had to put up with, they were still able to put on a really fun show. And then the Zicky show was a lot of fun too. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun too. The main event was a lot of fun between Zicky and Evil Uno. Kind of they were fighting over who was the king of Twitch. Thunder Rosa and Taya Valkyrie put on a really fun match. Top to bottom, just a lot of really fun wrestling.
And it's interesting. I'd love to we got to get Zicky on the channel here one day to talk about sort of the ins and outs of this. Is a thing where Twitch had a hand in it. I'm not sure, like from a business standpoint, I'm not sure exactly what the arrangement was, but it was broadcast on Zicky's channel for free on Twitch. A lot of watch-alongs out there as well arranged, including ours. But yeah, it's interesting to see Twitch. Pre-pandemic, they were really making a play for the wrestling space, and I'm glad to see that now indie wrestling is back. They're doing that again, seeing which channels are blowing up. And Zicky does some really, really creative, cool stuff on his channel. Yeah, he does. And he's at the forefront of sort of just that personal brand he's got going it's something else. It really is. It's great. It really is. And so, yeah, it's interesting to see what entities are going to step up. Because according to Zicky's, all the numbers that were in across all the platforms or all the channels, 350,000 unique viewers watching the Zicky Dice Outlandish Paradise, which is a pretty big number. And, it's not people that are plunking out for a pay-per-view, but you get that many eyes on your product. That's never a bad thing, because then that you go on to get sponsorships, et cetera, et cetera. That's really awesome. And it's interesting to see where the future is in indie wrestling. Terminus, a show put together, I think, by Gresham, and look at all the buzz that's been getting from day one. Ring of Honor taking a time out here Well, you've got this dude who's got the Ring of Honor title out there defending it in different places and in his own promotion. That's really awesome these days. If you build your own brand, you get there with social media and any of the different platforms that are out there. You can really put a dent in the business out there. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. We can dive into the news now. We got a lot to talk about today.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
First here, so Mustafa Ali, who we have long considered one of, if not the most underutilized talents in WWE. Dude, it should be face of the company.
Yeah.
He can do it all. He's a great in-ring worker, great talker, insanely creative. Any of the stuff he's got out and shot, I believe his name's with Craig Mitchell. I believe that's his name. It's like all great, and it's all of it's been different. So yesterday, I believe, he took to Twitter to ask for his release from WWE. So he tweeted out, quote, "I'm requesting my release from WWE," and there was a video along with that said, quote, "I have a message that is much bigger than my dreams in pro wrestling. Despite my best efforts, I will not be able to deliver this message while working with WWE. Therefore, I'm requesting my release from WWE." Fightful Select followed up with a lengthy report, which noted that Ali debuted a new gimmick a few weeks back. I believe it was mid-November, where he's standing. It's like standing in front of a podium, kind of giving like a political address.
Yeah.
And he says, while that gimmick, or Fightful says, while that gimmick was initially approved, apparently Vince changed his mind, instead pitched Ali on an idea that Fightful describes as, quote, something Mustafa Ali would never have done. Fightful adds that this pitch, quote, led to a heated argument between the two, and Ali has been off TV ever since.
Yeah. So, like you said at the head, Ali is an immensely creative person. And that's the one thing that I think separates him. Look, there's a lot of great talent. He is one of the best pure actual wrestlers they have. Like, we can agree on that for sure.
Totally.
One thing that we can also agree on is there's a lot of people with pure wrestling talent in WWE. It's a stacked roster, right?
Yeah.
Anybody, most of the people there can put on just stellar matches if given, the floor. What he brings that so few others bring is that creativity. He was one of the first people to be going outside the company, using his social media to cut these amazing, like you said, you said his name was Craig Mitchell. Is that the name?
I believe his name's Craig Mitchell. Yeah.
These awesome video promos, cinematic promos, to further his brand, further his character, to make people more wanting to see him on TV. And then that stuff never, they never did anything with that. They never looked at him and said, "Hey, that's a guy who's going after the brass ring right there. That's a guy who's building up anticipation." Same thing that Zack Ryder was doing back in the day. He was getting over on his own using the early days of social media. Yeah. And that wasn't rewarded. And so you got Mustafa Ali, a guy who has everything, so much charisma, in ring, 10, right?
Yeah.
And they do nothing with him. And then he's the only thing that brought any sort of intrigue to Retribution, but that was dead on arrival.
Oh yeah.
During the time when Raw was just a complete dead zone of creativity, the stuff with him and Mansoor was like for weeks the only thing that I was interested in. And it was maybe like a 5 to 7 minute match.
Oh, if that.
Or a backstage segment.
The one thing Ali was really good at with his TV time was using that TV time effectively and efficiently. Because you watch a lot of those Mansoor Ali matches, they were maybe given 3 to 5 minutes, and they maximized the amount of story they got out of those 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. And it was a guarantee. Whatever time they had that week was going to be used to its utmost effectiveness and actually advancing the story between the two of them. So often we see segments on Raw or SmackDown where they're trying to advance story, but it's just the same thing over and over again,
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing about Ali is he's immensely creative. Everything that he either came up with or was given, he would do like wonderfully. Like he was put with this Retribution stable, which, as you mentioned, was essentially crap on arrival. You put him as a leader of it. It actually generated some interest, and he was doing some stuff on his own there. Like he explained why they had new names, why they had the masks, stuff that WWE didn't even bother trying to explain when they debuted. From the early film promos he did to the most recent one. It was all about it seemed like he was always trying new things to get opportunities within WWE.
Yeah.
And he's such an imaginative, creative mind, and it's an absolute. I don't understand how WWE has all these insane talents, not just in-ring talents, but insane creative talents under contract, and seemingly can't do anything.
Yeah, right.
To get them featured on TV.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that they've employed over the years, signed contracts over the years, who could be huge stars, faces of the company, make tons of money for WWE, and they squander those opportunities on a regular basis.
Yeah. Obviously we can't speculate too much as far as what. So we talked about Ali had debuted a new gimmick, some sort of like political slant on the kind of thing that he wants to do. And it was initially approved. Vince changed his mind and pitched Ali on an idea. And it was something that Fightful described, something Mustafa Ali never have done. Now, I don't think it's unfair or bad form. Obviously, we can't speculate on the details because we have no idea what they would be. But time and time again, WWE has loved the typical foreign heel, anti-American guy. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that's, and who knows if we'll ever get the story on it, but it wouldn't shock me at all if that was one of the things, if that was the thing that Vince wanted out of him. And it sort of just illustrates why you need somebody who isn't 76 years old, a weird billionaire in charge of creative, because Vince doesn't get it. Like, he might understand, oh, he's a big guy, he's a draw. He might understand sort of like the tentpole attraction stuff. Like, he's not terrible at that. But when you are dealing with a guy like Ali, who has a message that is very much in 2022, and Vince McMahon, who's still booking for 1985, that ain't gonna work. It's not going to get people to tune and be like, oh, this is interesting. This is something that belongs today. And Ali belongs in the today. And this bullshit that Vince probably pitched him probably doesn't even belong in 1985, to be honest with you. And that's the infuriating part, is because you don't have somebody who's younger, you know, calling the shots, running the show, with more of a pulse on what's acceptable today. And that is a true shame, because you could have all the production of the WWE with some fresh minds running the show, you know, giving us a product that feels like it's 2022 and not 1985. And that's where the crime is here. And Ali, all I can say is whatever company picks him up should let him just run free. Because and look, he hasn't been released yet. Who knows what his contract situation is like? But dude, WWE has budget issues, man. They're always releasing people because of budget cuts.
I know all these budget cuts. You know,
you want to continue to be the most profitable entity on planet Earth, then release the guy so that you continue to do that, because we all know you have budget issues and you have to continuously release people. I mean, they had such budget issues, Larson. They had to release people during a pandemic when they couldn't get work elsewhere. They had to do that because of budget cuts.
Apparently they just couldn't. They couldn't do anything about it. They had to do it.
They couldn't do anything about it. They had to do it, making billions of dollars, but they had to.
But still, they had to budget cuts. They had to do it. They had to do it. Yeah. As of this recording, about 1 o'clock Pacific on Monday, no word yet if Ali has been granted his release. We just want we just want him to be happy. We want him to showcase what he can truly do. And if that's not going to be in WWE, then hopefully he's able to go somewhere where he can showcase his immense talents.
Yeah.
And if and when he gets his release, I'm really excited to see what he can do, because I think he's great. I've been a huge Ali fan for a number of years, and I'm really excited to see what he can do when he's allowed to do, or given the freedom to do what he can do. There's
no reason for them to keep him at this point. At this point, honestly, if anybody asks for the release, they should just damn well give it to him. Why wouldn't they? You know, the only answer is spite. It's the only answer why they'd keep him around. They're not going to use him. He asked for like one show off for paternity leave, And that was back in November, I think, according to Fightful.
Yeah.
And whatever this bullshit is, you know, I don't know. Anyways, hopefully he gets what he wants. All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, Factor. You know, Larson, I'm a busy man. I got going in Raw stuff to do. I got videos for WrestleJuice to do. I stream almost every day. Plus, I got to watch at least 11 hours of wrestling every single week. That doesn't leave a lot of time for grocery shopping or cooking, but now I'm not worrying about meal planning or prep thanks to Factor.
Yeah, Factor makes it easy to eat clean 24/7 with fresh, never frozen, pre-prepared meals that are ready to eat in 2 minutes, and they're delivered directly to your door. So that means no grocery shopping, no meal prep, no cleanup, and no washing dishes. I don't like washing dishes.
Who does, man? Factor's got a team of registered dietitians and expert chefs who work together to create delicious meals with nutritious ingredients. Plus, Factor's got variety. With more than 27 meal options each week, you'll never get bored.
Yeah, Factor offers vegan and veggie meals, cold-pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein and plant-based bars, and a lot more to keep you fueled and focused all day long. You get everything you ever wanted with Factor.
So head to go.factor75.com/plans and use code RAW to get $120 off over your first 5 weeks of meals. That's code RAW at go.factor75.com/plans for $120 off.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting what they want, Cody Rhodes apparently is a free agent. The world is his oyster. He could do whatever he wants. Fightful Select reported this morning that one of the founders of AEW, Cody Rhodes, the mayor of Cody Island, is currently a free agent. They added that Cody's deal expired at the end of 2021. He's been working shows without a contract. There was an update to this too. He doesn't have like a separate EVP contract, nothing. He's free, baby. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. You know, whenever it comes to Cody, especially because he's kind of doing this meta heel, not heel storyline thing, it's hard not to speculate or think about, well, how is this going to affect the overall Cody story? Now, I'm not saying that his contract running out is work, but it's entirely possible that his contract running out and him being a free agent, they could take that and use that in whatever story they're telling about Cody.
I hope they do. Oh, I hope they do.
Because he's supposed to be on Dynamite this Wednesday.
Yeah. Do you think this is why they did the interim championship thing? Because they're like, Cody's going to show up on what's the like SmackDown or something with the garbage can and dump the TNT title.
No, I don't think so. Because here's the thing: I'd be quite surprised if Cody doesn't return to AEW. As you mentioned, one of the founders of the company's executive vice president was. I don't know if he's still conducting his duties as EVP despite having no contract. But of course, this kind of stuff spurs speculation. Is he going to be in the Rumble?
Yeah.
He's got no deal with AEW. He can show up at the Rumble, be in the Rumble, get eliminated, and go back to AEW.
Hey, Dan Daniels has it here. The Hammerstein GCW this weekend. Whoa!
Entirely possible. Like there's so much that he could potentially do. But like, here's the thing: apart from going to WWE, there's a lot of stuff he could potentially do, even still while under contract with AEW. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of feel like his contract probably has expired. They'll probably use this for whatever storyline they're telling with Cody, and then at a certain point, he'll quietly sign a new deal. That's what I would expect.
You're probably right. I
don't I mean, if he leaves and signs with WWE, that'd be pretty surprising given what he said in the past.
Can't make his music over there, man. He can't make his own music.
Exactly.
He likes making music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But stranger things have happened.
Oh, it's a weird time. Anything can happen. The Rumble, the Hammerstein, oh man, well, they can't have a match with Triple H these days. At 2.0, man, the possibilities are endless. What you're saying is probably right. I am interested to see if Cody ends up turning this into story there in AEW. But clearly, AEW has given him sort of the biggest and brightest opportunities to shine.
Like, imagine if this news is out there. So I imagine a decent portion of the AEW fan base will be aware of this by the time Dynamite rolls around on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
He gets on the mic. He starts talking about how much he loves AEW. He wants to be there for the rest of his career. And everybody's like, hold up.
Yeah, well.
You got no deal, buddy.
You're no deal.
This could all feed to the idea that Cody, seemingly the character of Cody Rhodes, in his mind is super babyface.
Mm-hmm.
But, to the crowd, he's still very much a heel. At some point, character Cody Rhodes is going to become heel just as much as crowd already feels he is a heel.
I would love for this to be just some overbooked story stuff. You bring Tony onto TV. begging Cody. Cody says, kiss the ring or whatever. Oh man, yeah.
And then someone here in chat before we start said, what if these contract negotiations, at least in storyline, lead to him getting a title shot, an AEW title shot?
Yeah, this could be the way to do that. Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, who knows, man? For all we know, he's already signed and they're just super working it. Maybe not, probably not. Who knows? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Cody keeping himself relevant here in the 2022 with all these huge names coming to AEW. Speaking of continuing along the thread of AEW and what they're doing, competition, be it talent between WWE and AEW or the amount of gore on their programming. So the Toronto Star recently had an article about that competition between WWE and AEW, and WWE actually offered up a statement about why, in their estimation, AEW's brand of wrestling simply will never appeal to the masses. And this is the statement here. If you look at the gory self-mutilation that bloodied several women in the December 31st event on TNT, of course, that was the Rampage match with the Bunny, Penelope Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Statlander? No, who was it?
No, it was Ty Conti and Anna Jay.
Anna Jay and Ty Conti, yeah. It quickly becomes clear that these are very different businesses. We had an edgier product in the Attitude Era, and in the 2022 world, we don't believe that type of dangerous and brutal display is appealing to network partners, sponsors, venues, children, or the general public as a whole. I ended there with my Vince voice.
You did.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it wasn't punctuated by, get it?
Get it? Or, we won't insult your intelligence. Gory self-mutilation. Wow. I like.
Well, of course, it was Vince on an investor call referred to AEW was blood and guts wrestling.
So are we going to get like a special themed Dynamite episode called Gory Self-Mutilation? That's a bit of a tongue twister right there. It's their version of Hell in a Cell or something.
Yeah, there we go.
AEW presents Gory Self-Mutilation.
I mean,
this is petty and stupid, man.
Oh, it is.
This company, WWE, is worth 10 times. 10 times, probably more than 10 times the amount of AEW. Don't you have better things to worry about? Get out of here, gory self-mutilation. Get over yourself. That's silly.
How long? I mean, there was a lot of responses following the statement on Twitter, and someone or several people brought up a fairly recent example of WWE having seemingly intentional blood in one of their matches, and that was Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2016. And rather than do something that, while, accidents happen, sometimes people go too far in terms of blading, cutting themselves, they had Brock Lesnar, like, legit elbow Randy Orton until he bled, giving Orton a concussion.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. I know Brock's a trained fighter, and if he felt confident that he could do it safely, I mean, I guess W thought that was fine. But if I had a choice between someone getting struck in the head several times to make him bleed versus somebody who was trained on how to do that correctly and safely, yes.
They literally had a match called Eye for an Eye.
That's true.
The Project CMR here reminds us of this.
Yeah.
They had Seth Rollins jam
true.
Rey Mysterio's head into the corner of some steel steps, and his eye was dislocated or something, like whatever the name was.
Yeah. Popped out of the socket.
Popped out of its socket, and they had a silly little gore. What are you talking about, gory self-mutilation? You have eyes popping out of head. Yes, Larson. You have your
Tronin says in 2021 they had Orton kayfabe burn the Fiend alive.
Right, they burnt immolation. Gory immolation. We saw that, man.
Yeah.
What are they talking about here?
Enforcer points out that Jeff Hardy threw piss at Sheamus as well.
Jeff Hardy threw viscous, gooey piss at Sheamus. Yes. What are you talking about here?
Yeah.
It's all just entertainment, man.
I know. Oh, the sweets. The sweet Friendos. Thank you so much.
What's up, sweets? What's up?
So yeah, I know this is petty. This is BS.
Yeah, Miz got eaten by zombies. They had zombies.
Yeah.
Get out of here with this, man. My goodness gracious. You look at the Ruthless Aggression era. That was known for just bloodletting. Like, not the Attitude Era is whatever compared to the Ruthless Aggression era.
Look at some of the matches in the Ruthless Aggression era. Blood everywhere.
Any combination of like JBL, Cena, and Eddie Guerrero, right? And you're gonna talk to me about this? And they have a brand new document, or the second season of their weird kayfabed Ruthless Aggression documentary, where they're glorifying that stuff. Get out of here with that stuff, man. Children aren't going to be able to see the school. Goofy. You know, everybody's...
Bronkowitz. Hold on. Samuel Bronkowitz here says, Ricochet broke Rich Holland's nose. WB won't stop showing the aftermath.
Yeah, right? Yeah, dude. It's silliness. Everybody's stop taking shots at everybody. Even on Terminus, one of the commentators was like, we have more than one wrestling match on this show. We had two. And they're both great matches. They're both really... The Diamante... oh, crap. Now I'm stuck. What's her name? Somebody in chat help me out here. Janai Kai?
Oh, yeah.
Is that her name? Yeah. Okay, cool. It was in my head, but I was like, I don't want to get this right. Yeah, Janai Kai. Okay. Hey, look at me. Was a really terrific match. And then Jordan Grace, Kiera Hogan was a really terrific match. That goofy title, the Impact Digital Media title, they need to change that name. So, yeah, everybody needs to stop taking shots. AEW, stop taking shots. WWE, stop taking shots. Everybody stop taking shots. Okay. Just do you. Yeah. Be new.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. We got a Raw tonight. They announced 3 segments. These are all talking bits. First, the almighty Bobby Lashley responds to Brock Lesnar's jokes. Next, Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch reacts to new challenger Doudrop.
Dude, wait, back up. That first one. They're not going to do some cheesy bit where they put like a brick wall behind Bobby Lashley and have him do some stand-up, are they?
Like he's at the Laugh Factory?
That's totally within the realm of possibility, right?
I know. Then finally, can RK Bro bounce back from losing the Raw Tag Team titles?
Yeah, probably. They can probably bounce back.
So J-Man has another example. Shayna literally bit Becky Lynch.
Oh, man. But that wasn't self-mutilation. That was mutilation. That was...
Nonetheless, if the idea is that people don't want to see a bunch of blood in their wrestling.
I know. It's stupid. And I know that whoever this is that's putting out this statement would probably quibble and say, well, no, they're doing it to themselves by blading and all that kind of... But it's like, come on, man. These are grown-ass adults. They know what they're doing.
I know.
It's
like I said, I'd much rather have... accidents always happen. We saw with Eddie Guerrero. He cut himself too much and went into shock, apparently, after his match. That being said... I'd much rather have a situation where people are trained to do it correctly and do it themselves rather than have someone hit them with elbows repeatedly until they bleed and risk head injury.
Yeah. No, Fibergrass. Kevin Owens headbutted Vince in 2017. Exactly. Yeah. Silly, man. Silly.
It is silly. Anyways, want to answer some questions?
Yeah, let's answer some questions. Got a thread up here on the Twitter. Every Monday we put up a thread on the Twitter, twitter.com, /RealGoingInRaw. Also want to mention, of course, our Patreon, patreon.com /Stephen Larson. Got a new feature over there. It's called the Kip Up Weekly Newsletter. We do a newsletter where we conglomerate all the news stories of the week along with our takes on those news stories, all the results from all the shows that we cover here at Going In Raw, and our must-see matches of the week, any Friendo news from the Friendoverse that could be going on, results from predictions, et cetera, et cetera. It's all conglomerate. It's all in that one wrapped up into the Kip Up, the Kip Up Weekly. So check it out. If you don't have time to keep up with all the wrestling, if you don't have time to keep up even with this show, hey, we've got that there, and it's a great way to help support Going In Raw. Plus, on top of that, you can import the RSS feed there on Patreon. And so you get this show in the audio realm ad-free plus both bonus episodes. Get all that stuff over there and more and more.
Mr. Triplemania, Juan Guerrero Jr. You find yourself in the world of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Which wrestler or wrestlers would you want with you or on your adventures?
Oh, man. So you're in the 1930s? 30s, I think.
20s or 30s.
Radio is everything. It's like very Dust Bowl type situation.
I mean, the obvious answer would be probably the Vaudevillains.
Yeah, right. But then to them, that'd be like, because in the Vaudevillains, is that more of like a 1910s, 1900s type thing?
Maybe,
so their minds would be blown by the future.
Yeah, I guess.
They'd feel out of place.
All these horseless carriages everywhere, huh?
Yeah. Oh, Joe Arras is Bobby Fish. He's got old-timey feel to him.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, Vaudevillains. Yeah, time travelers. That's a good one. Oh, yeah, here we go. The Enforcer. I'm assuming he's asking this for a friend. Power rank the top 3 moves you can triple team one idiot jabroni with.
Well, Shield Powerbomb.
Shield Powerbomb. That's
Shield
it.
Powerbomb,
yeah, that's
1.
it. Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Jonathan says Braun Strowman as a strong man.
Who to
take with you to.
I could see that. He looks like
Brother
Ridge Holland looks like an old-timey wrestler as well.
Yeah.
Patrick Sparks, what's the best and worst movie about wrestling? The interesting thing is they both have the same title. It's Aronofsky's The Wrestler is the best, and Vern Gagne's The Wrestler is the worst.
I don't know if it's the worst.
I
enjoyed it.
I went for a fun answer, for a fun poetic.
Because I thought you can even say the best and worst could be the same movie, which would be Vern Gagne's The Wrestler.
Give me a reason why it'd be the best.
National Wrestling Office. Come on. Look at all those cameos from wrestlers and promoters.
Oh, I love watching that Best of Going in Raw video where she says wrestling office, and you're just sitting there. You go, wrestling office. She says, and boy, we ran with that one for the next 75 minutes. Or
wrestling office.
Wrestling office. She says. It's some backwards, phrasing there. Wrestling.
Yeah.
Office,
well, I mean, it was like 2 a.m. So.
Yeah. No, it's great. Wrestling office, she says. Oh man, like legit worst wrestling movie.
There haven't been a ton of them.
I probably haven't seen it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes of Fighting for My Family.
Ooh,
because it's like
people are saying Ready to Rumble.
Oh, that has a special place in a lot of people's hearts, though.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous. But Fighting for My Family is just extra cynical because it's like WWE's weird version of like kayfabe, not kayfabe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't get. I was like, oh, Body Slam is the best. The best to me would probably be Aronofsky's The Wrestler. That movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's a great movie. Mike Hobbs, what do you think WWE could do to change Mustafa Ali's mind about wanting release besides money? I'm not sure money would change his mind.
I don't think money would change. I think it'd be a platform. I mean, he says, I've got a message. I've got one. And he's been very clear about what that is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Give him the freedom. Give him the ability to tell his message and give him your blessing.
Yep.
Show him that you understand. I think that's probably the most frustrating part. Is talking to Vince is probably like talking to a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
That gurgles back at you.
Moxley said, "We know who you are."
Yeah. Yeah. Stuart Lee, if you guys were misted and joined the House of Black, what would each of your body full of tattoos consist of? What would be the big chest or back centerpiece?
You see this?
That's good.
That would be across my back.
Yeah,
I'd have big red tattooed across my waist.
That's really good. Yeah, boy, that's really good. Yeah. Mine it'd just be the roster of NXT UK.
Okay, but from the thumbnail, so the roster when it launched.
Yeah, right.
The thumbnail on the network still has Rhea Ripley and Pete Dunne.
Yeah, it's like old timey Tyler Bate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heel Long Heavy. If WWE opens the door to have an AEW star in the Rumble, could there be anyone more disappointing than Christian Cage?
Oh my God, that would be totally disappointing for like on multiple levels for me.
But what if when he came out for a spot in the Rumble, they played his old theme, Christian?
It would be.
I get a pop from me.
It would just be a huge face palm for me. Oh God, Big Show. Yeah, Big Show would actually be more underwhelming than Christian. Yeah. There's a couple names that'd be thoroughly underwhelming. Taz would be amazing. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be great. It'd be great if Taz was
and there's the Tron with the multiple Tazes.
Yeah, no. I mean, his theme is pretty well. I mean, the Shield's theme was just his theme slowed down.
Right, exactly.
Pretty much.
Let's see here. We've sort of talked about
from out west. Do you think with how poor WWE has been for these past few years in terms of storylines releases, it will tarnish how Vince McMahon's legacy or WWE's legacy is viewed?
No, I don't think it has anything to do necessarily with the creative. I think it's going to do more. Their legacy is going to be more tied to business practices, going back to like gobbling up the territories and putting people out of business. And all these ultimatums and whatnot. I kind of feel, and then even up to like Saudi Arabia deals, I kind of feel releasing people during a pandemic. I feel like their legacy is going to be more tied to their business practices than anything they did creatively.
Yeah. Yep. DKC wants to know, when are you going to re-upload Numbers Don't Lie, Eddie Guerrero?
It's done. It should be done. I'll take a look at this during the post show.
All right.
But that should be done.
D. Kyle, name 3 male and 3 female wrestlers from NXT UK you would like to see in the respective Rumble matches, whether or not NXT UK are given a chance for WWE higher ups to showcase their skills, promote the brand. So 3 wrestlers from NXT UK to be in the men's women's Rumble.
Oh, man, as much as I'd love to see Sam Gradwell, he's currently trying to enlist anybody to face off with him against Pretty Deadly.
That might be your favorite story in all wrestling.
It really is. Oh, he's terrific. That little bit with him and Nathan Frazier, I watched that like 10 times. Oh yeah, that's great. Burt Winning says all of Gallus. There's too many names.
That's my answer is Gallus. Yeah,
Gallus would be great.
They come out like they are 3 consecutive numbers. So they just come out on the stage at one time, do the three-way handshake. Say like Mark goes in the ring and then Wolfgang and then Joe.
Yeah.
And once the time lapse, they all go out there and do the handshake. You get to hear that song 3 times.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
For the women's Rumble, give me Mako.
Oh man,
Millie, and then
probably Blair Davenport. Well, I'd go with
Ginny.
Ginny. Yeah, I'd go with Ginny. She's really paid her dues there, man. White Brownie asks, have you guys ever had an awkward moment when explaining what you do for a living, whether it be at Going in Raw or when you worked at Machinima?
So not necessarily awkward, but when I try to explain to people what I did, I generally say I do stuff with video games on YouTube. And when people heard that, they were like, for the Machinima days, they're like, oh, so you make them? No. So you review them, though? No.
You should say pay attention, please. Yeah. Yeah, no, I go really broad depending on the person. I say, I'm a video producer. I edit and produce video.
Well, like now it's pretty easy. I do a podcast. Oh, what about wrestling? Oh, okay. Like WWE stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's generally how the conversation goes these days.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because everybody knows what a podcast is these days.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I've never really had. I mean, yeah, I've probably stumbled over my words trying to explain it in the past, but. Oh, here we go. Joel Hartman. When do you expect the Briscoes to debut on AEW this year?
I kind of expect FTR to show up at the Hammerstein this weekend.
Yeah, because the Briscoes have an open challenge, don't they? Mm-hmm. That's got to be FTR right there.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to try to start a riot at the Hammerstein.
Fear and Loathing asked, do you guys think if push came to shove, he'd be able to get into a heated argument with Vince McMahon? If so, what would it sound like?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I mean, could like if
it could be on any number of subjects.
I mean, God, you pick it. Yeah. I sneeze. What was that? What? I sneezed.
I fucking sneezed, Vince. I'm human.
I fucking sneezed, man. It's a thing that happens. And then I'd fart.
Get out of my office.
Yeah.
No. I got to air some grievances with you.
Yeah. Number 1. Let's talk about Hulk Hogan. Let's see here. Dominic, name a match from last year that everyone didn't enjoy, but you did enjoy. Shit, I don't know.
Oh, wow. That's last year. That I've kind of erased all last year from my memory already. Sorry.
It's already in the recycle bin.
It really is.
How about this? This is a tougher one. Here's the question. Let's just start here. Name a match from last year.
I'll just say Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's great. That's great. Yeah, same. Name a match from 2021. I don't know. WrestleMania.
Oh man. Cameron says, just got engaged, so who would you choose as your groomsman in a wedding, and who would be your best man? Thanks, Friendos. I guess if it were wrestlers in your wedding party.
Well, my best man would be Miro. That was his gimmick when he came into AEW.
That's true.
The best man. Yeah. Now it'd be a little bit weird though. Like you're up there and you know your officiant's talking about in the eyes of God, blah blah blah. He's like, oh, let me tell you about the God man.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, your best man would be Adam Cole, right?
Oh, of course, he's my best friend. Yeah, he doesn't know it, but he's my best friend. I have a picture with him. It'd be Chugs.
Chugs, and it'd be Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, right?
Oh, I don't think Kyle O'Reilly would do it because I put my arm in his shoulder. Jonathan says Boogs. Yeah, Boogs would be a great best man. You go up there, you just start
and shredding.
Flexing.
Do all the music for your wedding.
Can you please hand the ring over?
Flexes on you.
Yeah. Let's see here. Shane's birthday tweet. Do you feel ex-WWE employees get less interviews if they're more positive towards the company after a release and speak only highly of things they experienced during it? Oh, I don't know. I
don't think so.
I mean, obviously, like, you know, if they're saying nothing but good stuff, it's going to make less headlines, of course. But, you know, because everybody likes a good...
Oh, this is a great question.
Good shoot.
All along the Watchtower, what two modern-day wrestlers would you pay to watch in a Gotch v. Hackenschmidt style epic catch-can match? Give me Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., please.
Daniel Bryan and Bryan Danielson.
Oh, wow.
Like a Fin Too Deep situation where they do that with each other.
Rawgate whistleblower.
Let me try to think of a different... I'd go with the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. And I'd go with... I mean, they just had that match. Him and Gresham just had that match, so I'm not going to say Gresham. And I'd go with... I'd go with Josh Alexander. I'd go with Lee Moriarty.
Oh,
because that dude, he is slick. He is slick, man.
He is.
Yeah.
Greg Morris, with all the releases, pick only 3 you want to see in AEW.
Oh, man. Hey, I want to do that video. I was thinking this week for Friendo Club TV, you and I can have a 2-man new promotion draft.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Take all the free agents, and we see who drafts the best team.
Okay.
Or the best promotion, rather.
All right, let's do a little preview here. We can each draft 3 people.
The number 1 pick right now, I feel like it's like 1A and 1B. I'm not sure who brings more. It's either Bray or it's Keith Lee. But I kind of feel like it'd be Bray because of all the promo film stuff, all the filmmaking stuff. Like instantly enhances your production value.
Yeah.
So
I'd
depends
on,
yeah.
My only hesitancy about taking Bray over Keith Lee is he's obviously got interests outside of wrestling that might take time away from and potentially creative energies from what he does in the wrestling.
Yeah, but like everybody loves part-timers. So like, you know, he'd be an attraction.
I'm not sure that's the case. All right, you take Bray, I'll take Keith Lee.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see here. Sort of. Wolverine says, if Triple H leaves the company, would you rather he start a wrestling school or his own promotion? Oh, his own promotion. I can't watch a wrestling school on well, I do. It's called NXT 2.0.
Exactly.
I'd rather watch a promotion.
Yes.
Let's see here. I love this question, and it always confuses me. Jay Butler says, why hasn't the tribal chief taken up for his cousin-in-law Naomi? It seems like the easy... I mean, I guess I know why. They want to keep her a face. And Roman's like a bad guy with the bloodline. But, man, they should really, you know, give us some interaction between Naomi and her husband and the tribal chief. How great would that be?
That could be a lot of fun.
Do it. Just do it.
That could be some good stuff. Yet they don't do it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it's weird. That's weird. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Join us tomorrow for our Raw review at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern, right here at the twitch.tv/Stephen Larson, and afterwards, wherever podcasts can be found, of course, on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.